let's go to Indiana. Hope, thanks for holding. And you're first up today on the Line of Fire.
Hi, Dr. Brown. It's nice to finally meet you on the phone.
Thank you.
I watch your videos all the time on YouTube.
Thank you.
No problem. So my question is, if you ever heard of this term called white fragility. It's a book by Robin DiAngelo. It just talks about why white people are so afraid to talk about race. I just wanted to get your thought on that. And also, how would you tell someone of color, a woman of myself, how to begin to engage with talking about races?
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, so Hope, number one, I've heard the term and it was thrown at me yesterday. So I'm like getting bombarded by a ton of followers of Bishop Swan and by Bishop Swan himself, with a lot of the name callings. And I'm there just trying to engage. I decided I'll spend a few hours on Twitter instead of my writing projects just to engage. So as I'm engaging, like a flood of people hating on me, I'm accused of white fragility. It's like, if it was white fragility, I wouldn't be here engaging. But yes, the term is out there, and I'm sure in some cases there's truth to it. In other words, it's too threatening to think that there are wrong things in our history, or that we built on certain wrong foundations, or that there might be in some parts of America ideas that a black person was still less human than a white person. So sometimes anything that's going to expose a flaw or is going to be critical, if you're insecure, then you're going to respond negatively. When you're secure, it's like, oh yeah, bring it on, please. Absolutely. So I've heard the term, but like anything else, it gets misused, terribly misused. And now it becomes weaponized. Just like, again, anything I'm saying now is white-splaining. For fun on Twitter earlier, I said, okay, I repent of being white. Now, what do I do? Tell me what to do. I repent of being a male. What do I do now? Obviously, I was being sarcastic. But what you have to do to have honest conversation is always, and I don't care which side of the equation you're coming from, is to ask someone how things look to them. In other words, I would ask someone, let's say you want to have a dialogue with a white friend that just is oblivious to what it's like to be a black female in America, completely oblivious to it, right? And they have no clue that, or say to be a black 17-year-old male, all right? The likelihood of that kid being racially profiled, all right, or being pulled over in a certain area, if he was driving through the wrong neighborhood, getting pulled over, it wouldn't happen to a white kid. And they're completely oblivious to this, right? So I always try to start with asking questions. Like if I'm sitting on a plane next to someone that's obviously gay or lesbian, I'll introduce myself, tell them what I believe, and say, hey, please tell me your story. And I want to hear their perspective. I want to see things through their eyes. And so first, that's helped me. Even if it ends there, I've become more sensitive, all right? That's number one. Number two, maybe they'll ask for my perspective and I could share it with them. And I might ask a series of questions. So if I was engaging a white friend, Hope, if I were you, I would ask them, like, well, how do you feel about, like, you hear about white supremacy, or do you think Trump's a racist? Or like, try to engage them, find out where they're coming from. And then say, ask, do you think there's like full racial equality? Do you think that maybe you're a white woman, that you might have it easier than me as a black woman? Ask them questions. And then if you can develop any type of friendship or relationship, they're going to ask you questions. And that's when you get to explain things. So for example, as we talked through a lot of the race issues in the past, Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman, and the shooting of my namesake Michael Brown a few years ago, a lot of callers called in, African-American callers. Hey, Dr. Brown, I love you. I'll listen to your show for years. I don't think you have a racist bone in your body, but you're not aware of what many of us have lived through and gone through and so on. Those calls helped enlighten me to something because I'd never been racially profiled, So I learned from a lot of the callers to give me a broader perspective of things that are not as good as many of us may think in America. So does that sound practical, helpful, Hope? Do you think that could be workable?
Yes, that was really, really, really good. And I don't think that you're racist or bigot or anything like that. And you're right. Like, white fragility is running away from the issue, not towards it, and definitely run towards, especially when there's an issue spiritually in our country. So I really appreciate all the work you do. Just keep it up. God's really proud of you. He loves you.
Oh, Hope, you are very sweet, and we're in this together. We are, and we need each other. That's the bottom line. I mean, that's the crazy thing. We need each other. Believers right now there's a concerted attack from the world coming against us, and we need each other. So, Hope, you're very gracious. Thank you, and may the Lord use you. God bless.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.